Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and yet another video about perio and ortho movements. And I'm not a periodontist, but I am an orthodontist. And I really believe that we should all stay in our lanes. And if there's a patient that clearly has a history of periodontal disease, be it past or present, we really need to be collaborating with our perio patients. And I think this happens quite often with orthodontists, but this is where the general dentists that I'm working with are kind of screwing up because they're not doing it. They're like, oh, I just do perio treatment in my office. Well, that's great, but that's perio treatment in your office for regular patients. Now you're moving teeth. You don't know about this. You don't know what's going to happen. The periodontist, I always say, needs to bless the case in writing. That means they need to do an evaluation, a diagnosis, prognosis, and a treatment plan if needed. And they need to tell you in writing, yes, patient can have orthodontic treatment, or yes, patient can have orthodontic treatment, but the following sites are, have poor prognosis, might need grafting afterwards, might need surgery, could potentially be lost, et cetera, et cetera. They need to go tooth by tooth and let the patient know the problem areas and if any treatment before or after is recommended, or if they need to be monitored throughout treatment. The reason why you absolutely have to do this is if you do not do this in writing, and you haven't done this yourself, and the patient ends up losing a tooth or needing additional periodontal treatment, who's paying for that? It's going to be you, the dentist, if you didn't do this. It's going to be you. Whether it's a dental board that tells you it's going to be you, or an insurance company that tells you it's going to be you, or the judge that tells you it's going to be you, it's going to happen. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's a matter of when it's going to happen. Today, tomorrow, next week, next year. And too many of you are doing this and saying, I can manage the perio myself. No, it's not about that you can manage it. It's about the liability and the perception of a jury, of a dental board, that you're doing things to the standard of care of an orthodontist. Would an orthodontist manage it themselves? No, they would not. That's why you have to get the periodontist involved. Otherwise, you're going to be losing a lot of money. It will 100% happen. It's kind of blows my mind that you guys aren't doing this right. So make sure you do this, even if it's an extra step. And honestly, if the patient doesn't want to go, you don't want that patient, because all you do explain to them is, look, I'm a general dentist. I might do some periodontal treatment, but my experience is not periodontal and ortho. And remember, there's past and present perio. There might not be active perio. And sometimes you guys got to go back to dental school 101, because I'm like, okay, sure, you don't see calculus, you don't see bleeding on probing, but you do see attachment loss. So sometime in the patient's past, there has been periodontal disease. That means that this root is now compromised. It does not have enough bone to sit in. It might be enough bone if it's just hanging out there. Yeah, we're good if it's just hanging out there. But if we're moving it, oh no, that's not enough bone. It's going to go wibble wobble, start getting wobbly, getting loose, and it might get to the point of no return. Yes, we can pick movements that aren't going to be too traumatic for it. We have to really think. Obviously, we don't want to be necessarily expanding or proclining in that situation. Probably IPR, lower incisor extraction, maybe some sequential distalization, maybe not. But again, you have to look at all the teeth and the movements, and that is where even me as an orthodontist, I always get periodontists involved in writing. That's it. They got to have a report, and it either says it's clear, it's clean, move all teeth any way you want, sign it, or they break it down and tell you which ones. And some might need grafting before and some might need grafting later. You do not want to be paying for somebody's implants or worse if teeth go head south. And of course, I'll close this off with a story that I know I've told on pretty much every perio video that's out there that I've made. So you probably heard it before. If you have, you can just end this video. But it's a story about my auntie. She had ortho. Granted, this is before Invisalign. This is when I was in dental school. So I couldn't do it for her because I wasn't an orthodontist yet, plus I was in dental school. And she finally decided she wanted to get her teeth straight. She'd had ortho twice before, but she had never had extractions, and I guess the orthodontist decided she needed premolar extractions this time. I don't know. I mean, this is the 90s, so people did things differently. So she had the space now. It's just a matter of moving the front teeth over to where the premolar space was. And they did tell her, hey, look, your lower anterior teeth are already pretty compromised, not a lot of bone. They may not survive the journey. We've created space for them, but they may not, and they're healthy, but they may not survive the journey. You might have to lose some teeth and get some implants. So, I'm sure this was all in writing. This was a very high level orthodontist, in the Bay Area. who mostly worked with adults and did a lot of interdisciplinary cases. So I'm sure he had all the right paperwork. Did they survive? No. She lost her front teeth anyways, and she already had premolars out. So she basically lost all the front teeth. So he didn't do anything wrong. She knew that this might happen. We're all good. She was prepared to pay for it. Obviously, the periodontist was totally involved in the situation, and no harm, no foul. It's what was explained to her what might happen. So there was no issues, dental board issues, lawsuits, anything like this. So just comes down to, I've got 2 pieces of paperwork that are just stock paperwork, like I'm not saying, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not saying this is what you need. I'm not saying this is going to work, but it's just something to get you started, that you can give to your periodontist and have them sign. You probably want to create your own if you're going to do a lot of perio patients, but it's just something to get you started. But you want to make sure it's customized for that patient, and you go over the risks, benefits, and alternatives for that patient. That's the main thing. Signature, date, printed name of you, signature, date, printed name of the patient, signature, date, printed name of the periodontist. All right, thanks so much.